The dust has settled and the Blue Lock Season 2 anime is officially finished, and I gotta say, after watching it, coming from somebody who's read the manga and I'm caught up to date, if I had to rate it, I'd give it a solid like 6 out of 10, simply because the last, I would say 3 to 4 episodes, they actually nailed it out the park. I think they did good with most of the goals, because that's what I kind of anticipated after like the first couple episodes, because starting back into the third selection, and after seeing the second episode, because the first one was a lot of talking, so you really didn't know what you were gonna get from them, because I wasn't aware of what was happening behind the scenes until later. But once I saw like the second episode and the third episode of how it was looking, I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta keep our expectations low, because most of the time it was like everybody calls it PNG lock, except that was the worst the season was gonna be during the time, especially with Shido's first major goal as to how cool and explosive he could be as a character. That was a big letdown for me. I didn't watch every single episode because I just wasn't that interested because of how the animation looked, especially for the third selection, so I missed like maybe 1 or 2, but it was just very underwhelming and sucked to see how it was, because even though the third selection isn't like the greatest arc, it's a good build up into the U20. So seeing, you know, Isagi's last goal and Shido and Rin and all the other characters that were brought in really sucks seeing how that was done. Now obviously, as we learn more, I had a feeling of this. It's because production in the 8-bit studio is just garbage right now. It sucks. I don't know if it's the producer or the guy, well, the producer, the director, how they do this, but basically they didn't have no time to do like any of this stuff, which I kind of anticipated, because the fact that they announced like season 2 was gonna be next year following season 1, and they had a movie dropping, I'm like, ain't no way in hell they're gonna get some good quality out of that. Only reason MAPPA could pull it off is because like MAPPA is fucking huge. I mean, they have like groups on groups on groups. I don't know how big 8-bit is, but clearly they didn't have the facilities to do a movie and a season 2 that was gonna need a lot of good movement to pull off a great arc. As far as the U20 arc goes, I gotta say, when it comes to what they were consistent with, it was like everything surrounding the animation. So like the sound, the crowd was pretty good for most of the part. I would say the voice acting was top tier. I did not expect the voice acting to feel as impactful as it does. I'm guessing the voice actors must have known that like this arc is huge, and regardless of how it looks, like you gotta nail these scenes when they drop. And also I would say the music was on point as well. I think they did everything justice in terms of that, because, you know, obviously everything else was either, you know, a little bit of CG here, a little bit of steel frames there. I mean, you could literally just take some colored manga panels and just put them on YouTube with the best editing you got. You probably just get Blue Lock right there. That's kind of how it looked for about 80% of the game. But something told me, if I was producing this and I was working under these situations, like, how am I gonna pull this off with my team and make it look kind of good? And I had a feeling they were gonna do this. They just said, we gonna just focus on these goals. If anything, we're not gonna be able to do as good as we want to do with the whole game. Let's just at least get this goal shit correct, which they did. I think the only one that was kind of like whatever was Rin, which I didn't really care for Rin's goal that much in that manga anyway, so I didn't feel no type of way about it. Sei's was cool, you know, he was just kind of kicking off like what he could really do other than the passing and the dribbling. But everything else, I think they did really good. Nagi's goal was, I liked it, because when they showed that one, I'm like, okay, I can see it. I can see what they could do for the others at least, you know. Then we get to Shido gets in the game. It's like they knew, out of all the characters we got to get right, other than the main character, Shido in this game has got to be done justice. Once he gets in, you can see there's a little bit of a quality increase. I love the little orange that they give him, because it is in the manga, but the color and actually seeing it in motion is dope. So Shido gets in, Dragon Drive, that shit was cold. It actually looked way better than the anime than it did the manga, which I wouldn't expect it to say. And also like how they did the lock on, and Shido was able to get the ball perfectly from Sei and Shigiri, and the cut to Shido looking all crazy in the air, and then the impact. That's when I saw the impact. I'm like, okay, let's hope they do the best goal. I would say still for me, top 5, even in the manga, like a top 5 goal in the series for justice, because this is the one goal out of all the manga readers are looking forward to the most. And they did the Big Bang Drive really fucking good. I gotta give them that. That was the #1, even with the animation of the last episode. I love the Big Bang Drive, and that felt like a moment for Blue Lock. And I think at that time, before the last episode dropped, that was the moment for Blue Lock, because we ain't seen nothing that crazy at that level in the series yet. And seeing Shido is, you know, as exotic as he is the best way I can describe it, and what he said after the goal, you know, it was still a great moment, and I was happy for 8-Bit that they were able to do that justice and impact on it, the colors, the extra scenes that was thrown in there with, you know, sperm egg and all that other shit. But that was great. Then of course at the end we got to get Borrow. Borrow unfortunately was not done the justice I thought he was gonna get, but it's better than nothing. It could have been way worse. They did give him some extra animation with the actual goal, but I do wish, looking back on it, that when he's getting guarded by the two biggest defenders they got other than Aiku, I wish we could have got some type of emotional animation for that, because I think that would have came off even more aggressive, and like with that pridefulness and the craziness that is Borrow, that could have been did a little bit better. And then the last 2 episodes they dropped together. I don't really know what made them do that, but I actually think that was kind of smart. Because now, first of all, they can get this shit done with. Because I know deep down they probably already had these done. Because I did learn that sometimes they'll do some episodes like out of order. And I guess like they'll do extra work on certain ones they knew that was gonna be big. It's like, because I know Attack on Titan, they did something similar to that. So I think they did that here. These are probably already done, and then they said, fuck it, let's just drop them both together, because they kind of need to be together with the whole like sequence of events that take place. Ren and Sei, their moments together were done really good. I love the OSTs behind it, the flashbacks that was used when they was talking. And you can really feel, you know, Ren's resentment towards his brother. And like he wants his brother to prove because of how good Sei is. And the fact that he became a midfielder and left the striker position, he wanted that approval from Sei, because Ren can just take over that goal, and he never got that. Let's just say that. Ren destroyer mode, which in the manga, I would say it was a little bit better than the manga. In the manga, this was it felt like some type of combat. The way he was moving, because the way he was telegraphing their moves was fire. Don't get that twisted, it was fire. But like, I don't know why this felt like a fighting scene more than anything. And then the fact that he has the tongue out, I did see some people were kind of like tweaked out by the tongue, like why the hell he got his tongue out. Closest thing I could do is like, you know, it's like MJ had his tongue out. Granted, this is a lot more like ridiculous, but I mean, it's an anime. Like, I don't, nigga, you think I'm here for regular shit? I'm here for the craziest thing you can show me. But he does that. The destroyer mode's done pretty good. Well, let's just get to the final episode. That is where, you know, everything just goes and turns into a 10 out of 10 episode. They even gave us a 10 out of 10 on IMDb for the anime, over Bleach, which was a 9.6, I believe. Once I saw the movie bars come in, I'm like, oh, they're really about to do this. And that's when it clicked with me. I'm like, they definitely had this locked and loaded to be dropped whenever they needed to when the time came. And shout out to the animator. I wish I remembered his name at the time, but I'm gonna put the whole thing about him or her. Shout out to them, because they did pretty much the whole thing of the movie section with the fluid animation. They killed it. I want to say they might have worked on a JJK episode or something. Phenomenal. Once I saw them moving, Ren's running, Sei's trying to counter him and stop him, and then the moment where Ren finally blocks Sei because he anticipated a move that Sei has done before, and Sei was shocked. He's like, oh, how the hell you block me? Because Sei's never been, first of all, never been stopped, period, and never been stopped by his brother, who's having this flow and evolution at the same time. And they did Isagi's final goal justice. I'm not like the biggest fan of this goal, not that it's bad, but it's just because out of everything we've seen, I think it's more so not the goal itself, but the fact that it's Isagi getting the last goal, the luck piece coming in, and the story behind him finally getting this goal, the fact that he did it off of a Ren block, gets it, game's over, celebration done beautifully. I love how like it kind of just all flowed into the ending song and all that. Press conference, they nailed this, man. They did this beautiful. I would say this is a perfect adaptation of those final chapters, especially the final chapter of this, because the final chapter in the manga with the game, there is no dialogue. So wonderful work to 8-Bit for the parts they did, and to the animator that did that final section. Nah, let's just hope and pray that somehow, some way 8-Bit can like push this to 2026. Yeah, hell, I'll wait till 2027, just because we got so much good stuff coming, whether it's anime, TV show, gaming. There's a lot of stuff coming out, especially in 2025. So I don't really need Blue Lock in 2025. You know, let the manga do its thing, let it pick up, because we can even finish the NEL, which, by the way, I cannot wait for that to be taken care of. I don't dislike the arc, but man, you want to talk about a long arc. Because first of all, season 3 with that NEL, I'm just warning y'all now in case you've never read the manga, This arc is, I think, at minimum 150 plus chapters. So there's 2 games that take up at least 40 chapters, and the one that we're on right now has been going on for a year. And this proves yet again, it ain't about the budget. You know, I know a lot of us back in the day used to say, oh, it's about, they probably didn't get much money or whatever. Now, budget does matter when it comes to making this stuff. But when these companies, budget matters to a degree when it comes to how much they can really make off of it and how much they're getting back. But it's really about how much time they get. A good example is Bones and one of their group studios with Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho is not like a hot commodity right now in terms of the manga because it's finished. And it wasn't that popular when it did have a manga. But now that it has an anime and a lot of people are really only looking forward to that anime, they took their time with it. They finished it before it was ready to even be premiered. So by the time they were ready to be shown on air, everything was taken care of. What I gotta do is just submit the episodes. So I wish we could do more of that stuff for these anime, Let's get more of that and less of...
Yes, I quit. I'm tired of this.
What?
No, I'm done.
You done?
I'm done wasting time. I'm about to get started on...
Oh, you done wasting time?
Right now.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll let y'all hear the next one.
Yeah, Kim Jong, yeah.